Let's talk about the interrelationship of pH, hydrogen ion concentration, pOH, and hydroxide ion concentration. So these two are closely related. pH is equal to the negative log of the hydrogen ion concentration, and hydrogen ion, so if you want to get rid of that log, you would take 10 raised to, and then you're going to do the negative, so it would be negative pH. And that's how you can go back and forth between pH and the hydrogen ion concentration. And it's the same thing for pOH and hydroxide concentration. So pOH is equal to the negative log of the hydroxide ion concentration, and hydroxide ion concentration would equal 10 raised to the negative pOH. But then how do we connect the two sides? How do we connect pH and pOH and H plus and OH minus? There are two avenues you can take. Because the ionization constant of water is, and we call that kW, kW equals 10 to the minus 14. And kW is found by taking the hydrogen ion and multiplying that by the hydroxide ion concentration. So knowing that kW is 10 to the minus 14, you can take hydrogen ion concentration, hydroxide ion concentration, and those two multiplied together will always give you 10 to the minus 14th. So if you know one, you can easily find the other. pH, similar thing, so the negative log of all of this, so the negative log of 10 to the 14th is 14, so 14 is going to equal the negative log of hydrogen ion concentration, which is pH, and then since they're logs now you would add them, and the negative log of hydroxide is pOH. So the sum of pH and pOH is 14. And so knowing these two facts, you can relate any one of these four to any of the other three. So then we're asked a question. It says, what if the hydroxide ion concentration is equal to 4.5 times 10 to the minus 5? What will be pH, H plus, pOH? So pOH is probably the easiest one to find. You can take the negative log of this hydroxide ion concentration, and it would be negative. So the pOH would come out to be 4 point, and then 2 sig figs, so it would be 4.3, which means that the pH would equal 14 minus pOH, which gives us 10.7, and then we leave it as 10.7, or if you want to go with 2 sig figs, we'd call that 11. And then if we want to know the H plus concentration, H plus, so H plus times the hydroxide ion concentration should equal 10 to the negative 14. So we'll do H plus is going to equal 10 to the negative 14 divided by 4.5 times 10 to the minus 5th. And that should equal 2.2 times 10 to the negative 10. So there we have hydrogen ion, pOH, and pH, all from hydroxide ion concentration. And there is immediately following that a question very similar. So lecture example number 2 asks for, provided with the pH of 8.85, what are the hydrogen ion, hydroxide ion, and pOH So let's do number 2 real quick together. So they give us pH is 8.85. So if pH is 8.85, well, we can find pOH pretty darn easy. It's going to be 14 minus 8.85. So that's going to come out to be 5.15. Yeah. So 5.15. And then now if I want to use pH to find H plus concentration, I can use this guy right here, 10 to the negative pH. So H plus concentration is going to be 10 raised to the negative 8.85, and I can punch that in a calculator, and it should come out to be 1.41 times 10 to the minus 9th. And then hydroxide ion concentration, I can do the same thing with pOH. I'm going to take 10 raised to the negative pOH, and it's going to be 10 raised to the negative 5.15, and that comes out to be 7.08 times 10 to the minus 6. And those should be labeled, my bad, those should be labeled in molar because they're concentrations. All right.